Welcome back to Jokecast.
Hey, Dad. Welcome back to Jokecast.
Welcome back to Jokecast. Oh, God, my back hurts.
Thanks.
I have osteoporosis.
That's a fun thing to have.
That's a fun fact.
Fun fact. All right. Welcome back, Dad. It's been a little bit a week. And I just think we should go right into jokes.
Let's just hop right into them.
So it's been a time.
It sure has been a time.
So
it sure has been an increment of time.
We, at the time of recording this, have still not gotten any submissions for hashtag
brisp iced tea in a bowl.
Yes. I'm sure you know the drill now.
Please. Send them to our Instagram. Send them to our Twitter.
Yes. They will. This challenge will be only running for a couple more weeks now, and then bye.
It is the only way to guarantee your spot here on our beautiful, beautiful podcast.
Exactly. But into the jokes. This one is from our friend Audrey. She was in the last episode. She's in this episode. I have a joke to tell you, June.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm ready to hear it.
Okay, Junecast. Let's go.
All right, Vivian joke.
Where do sick boats go?
Where?
The dock.
Do
you get it?
I do. That's
do you get
an interesting joke.
Because doc, like doctor, like what's up, doc? Like Bugs Bunny, not sponsored. Like
not a sponsor.
Like
not a sponsor.
You know, like a joke, like a funny joke, like sick. Because the boat's like a sick, so sick like doctor, like dock, but like dock like the place where the boats go, like a boat, like a sick boat, like a dock.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't get it before. Now I get it. Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, sick boats go to the dock. I think this could be touching on health care. Health insurance.
I'm interested in more of the historical kind of aspect to this joke. The punchline. One of the two meanings of the punchline is doc, as in doctor, which is not something that is very commonly heard in this day and age. So I wonder if this joke is trying to make an attempt to harken back to the days when healthcare in this country was just abysmal.
Yeah. Well, also it's interesting to note that because now medicine has become more and more advanced, you don't necessarily need to go to the doctor when you're sick. You can just WebMD it, not a sponsor, not a sponsor, but you can go on WebMD and you can look up your symptoms and you can see if you're sick maybe. You can find out if you need to take some Tylenol, not a sponsor, and, also...
Definitely, any major diagnosis can be done on WebMD.
Yeah, and so... While also, like, the term doc is older, I think also the fact that being sick and going to the doctor is also more of an older thing to do.
Fairly archaic.
Yeah.
People just don't get really sick
like 1700s?
1700s, 1600s even. If you don't have the Black Plague, I don't know if it's fair to say that you're really sick.
Yeah, or if you can go to a doctor. Or a doc.
A doc.
But I kind of like how this joke means two different things. Because, like I said, boats go and are at a dock. But also, sick people go to the doctor. And there's like double meaning where it's like kind of a pun, but also like a play on words. I don't know.
I do. I think the cheapness of it being a pun is kind of disappointing to both of us, I'm sure. As you know, here on Jokecast, we aren't really fans of the pun format.
We'll tolerate it, but...
I don't know if it'll get anything above a 3 out of 5.
2.5, I would say.
2.5 seems fair to me.
Because how can a boat get the Black Plague?
It just can't.
It just can't.
It just can't.
It just cannot. All right, so 2.5 out of 5 Garfields for that joke. Here's another joke. Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
I'm going to read these to you in these two messages in the order they were sent.
All right.
What do you call a cow that can't produce milk? And utter failure. And then the next message is Anne, little asterisk.
Okay. Now, I think what this gives... This joke has a lot of personality. And I think what gives it personality is the utter failure to type a simple two-letter word that the sender of this joke has given us.
Hey, that was a good one, Jokecast.
Thank you, Vivian Joke. Now, I think that without this sort of shortcoming of the way that this joke was delivered to us, that this joke would be nondescript and we would pass over it with maybe a 2 or a 3. But I think that with this added miserable attempt at literacy by one of our joke sources.
I'm sorry.
I'm not. I think that this maybe deserves a little bit more looking into, and I think that this could even potentially boost the score.
That's true. Well, let's examine the original joke. Say that it did not have the spelling error. So what do you call a cow that can't produce milk? An utter failure. It's a little bit vulgar. I don't know. Like, are we allowed to talk about udders on this show?
I don't know. I feel that it's a bit sexual, and I don't feel entirely comfortable with it.
Alright, so let's just talk about udder then. We acknowledge that it is the part of a cow which you are able to obtain milk from. And we also acknowledge that if the DD is turned into a TT, then it means a different thing and they sound the same. Mm-hmm. Additionally, TT kind of looks like tit, which is like an udder. So I think it comes full circle, actually. Is that interesting?
That's a little bit of more linguistic depth to this joke, and I think that could also lend to its complexity and boost the score.
I think our score should first of all be, we'll take the base of the joke and then add also the error to the score and the correction of the error, and then your joke on top of that.
All right.
So I would give the original joke maybe because it comes full circle, like a 3 out of 5.
I think that's nice. I think that's a fair score. I think with the spelling error on top of it, at least in my own personal opinion, and as well as the attempt at correcting such a terrible, unforgivable, really, mistake, I think that adds at least 2 Garfields, and I think we could bring it up to a 5.
A 5? 5 out of 5 Garfields.
5 out of 5 Garfields.
That's pretty funny. Thank you so much, Audrey.
Mostly, thank you.
Thank you for providing us with this. When you it
takes such bravery.
Yeah, to Audrey and to every single one of the viewers who are listening who want to submit a joke, it takes a lot of integrity, and it takes a lot of will and depth of character to be able to submit something and be so vulnerable as to put yourself out there to be judged, to put your comedy out there to be judged. So I just would really, really like to thank you for that. To thank you for what you've done for us, for the show, and how you can help yourself through this. Thank you for helping yourself.
Here on Jokecast, we are not afraid to shame you mercilessly for things that are not your fault.
Or praise you.
Or praise you, sure. Shame first and foremost.
I'll praise you.
Great. Let's move on.
All right. Would you like to have another nature joke or another animal joke?
Now, I feel that these go kind of hand in hand, but I'm leaning a bit towards the animal joke.
Okay. What do you call a bird that's afraid of heights?
What?
Chicken.
This seems to be a racist joke.
Well, can chickens fly?
For a short burst of
Okay,
time.
Google. Can chickens fly? Please hold on a moment.
According to Wikipedia, domestic chickens are not capable of long-distance flight, although lighter birds are generally capable of flying for short distances, such as over fences or into trees.
Alright, so chickens can fly, is what I'm hearing, right? And so the stereotype that chickens are afraid of heights and afraid of things
seems to be just incorrect.
Yeah.
I think playing up the cowardice, the presumed cowardice of chickens is insensitive and short-sighted.
Let's just be real. Chickens are the only bird in nature known to cross a road.
Exactly. Chickens, time and time again, show no fear of cars or oncoming traffic.
Yeah. And while we understand that a lot of current humor, modern humor, is related in how in things that are offensive, it's rooted, sometimes things that are racist can be considered or perceived to be funny. Sometimes they're not. At Jokecast, we don't really like to how would you say this, push forward this positive note or this acceptance of racist comedy. We don't think it's very funny. We don't think it's funny at all.
We don't.
And for that, we rate this joke -5 out of 5.
-5 out of 5.
I get that chicken is a word that has been used for a long time, and I know I'm using it right now, but honestly, is it okay to call a chicken just because it's afraid? It's like calling humans human because they're stupid.
That was very profound. That was very profound, Vivian. I appreciate you saying that. I think that's something that our very small-minded audience could take to heart.
Yes. So, -5 out of 5. We just don't stand for that kind of message. All right. Do we have a sponsor today?
You know what?
Right. Oh, sorry. I just forgot. Today, okay, this might seem a little bit strange as it's not really the nature of a podcast, but our podcast today is sponsored by books. So, books are interesting because in order to really understand them, you have to be able to read. And June is not able to.
I'm not able to.
That's why I read the jokes.
Based on our focus testing, I think that a good amount of our audience is also unable to read, which makes this sponsor a bit difficult. But for my own benefit, today, our sponsor has sent us a sample of their product. And I have, you can't see it, of course, but I have a book in my hands. And this is the sound that it makes. I'm just very confused. You can open a book, I'm told, and I'm seeing a lot of interesting runes and colors.
Right.
Now, some of these I'm confused about. Can you explain this picture to me, Vivian? Why include this in a book?
Well, this book is a book. It's documenting. It's like a document. You know what a documentary is, right?
Yes.
The thing you watch. It sometimes has text that you can't read on it. Mm-hmm. Well, this is like a documentary, but in book form. So all of the words are written. These runes are actually letters, and they spell out words. And the words are documenting this play that's happening.
Now, what is a word?
So a word is essentially something that you say or read, right? All language has some sort of words, either written or spoken.
Interesting.
And they communicate different things. Like, you know how you're understanding me right now?
Uh-huh.
We're speaking with words.
Oh, all right. So I can find words in books.
Yes.
Where else could I find words, say, on a bottle of brisp iced tea?
Yes. Actually, the word brisp is a word.
Huh.
I know.
That's very interesting.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Well, clearly, our sponsor this week has given me a lot to think about.
Yes.
Thank you, books.
Now, because a lot of our audience is illiterate, and you are literate, I would like to take the time to say the reason that I read the jokes on this channel is because I am the literate one. I have that privilege of being literate. And as a literate person, I would like to try and explain books. So, books are essentially, as some of you may know and some of you may not, they are usually on paper, although nowadays they are also they can be in electronic form. And they're
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor. And our sponsor is paper books.
Paper books made with paper.
Yes.
I'm to understand.
Yes. And so essentially these things are, so they're bound, right? And they have lots of pages. And in the pages there are words. And the words tell a story or they have a purpose. Sometimes books can be full of arguments. Sometimes they can be fictional. They can tell a story. Sometimes they can document something like someone's life or someone's accomplishments or something in particular.
I see that in this book, all of the words are arranged in rows. Is that on purpose?
Yes. So the reason that words can be arranged in rows is so that they're easier to read And say it's like a book like this, which is essentially write a documentary in a book form. They're in columns so that you can put images in between them, and it's not all the way across the page, but it's easy to read because it's in columns and you go from column to column.
Oh, that's so smart.
Yeah. Something very interesting about actually reading is that you can read left to right or right to left or up and down. But here on Jokecast, we only know how to read left to right.
Okay.
And then up to down.
Okay. Good to know. And books aren't very recent, are they? Books have been around for 10, 20 years?
Actually, surprisingly, they've been around for a very long time, but they've been very obscure. They've been kind of like a niche hipster thing for a while to read books, but now it's becoming more popular through the use of ebooks. But let me just say, you're not a real person until you've read a book. No, sorry, that was really rude of me to say. I just got this instinct to be like a total prick, you know, like maybe like an 8th grade girl or something.
Ooh, I know how that is.
Yeah, so sorry. But yeah, books are very interesting. If you're literate, you can find them in any store. Magazines are kind of a form of book. They're not really a book, but they're published writing, which is similar to a book. But you can find books in almost any store, especially in bookstores, which is a store that sells books.
Sounds like it.
And they have thank you so much, books, for sponsoring us today. You know, joke books are a thing. Maybe one day we'll come up with our own joke book.
Perhaps.
But today is not that day. We have to teach June how to read first.
Thank you, books. We all learned something there.
Yes. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled joke reading time. Remember, we are comedians first.
And people second.
All right, our final joke of today. Sorry, my ebook is slow. My e-joke book, my DMs. So here is another one. Why couldn't the bike stand up by itself?
Why not?
It was too tired.
Ah. See, this one is very interesting because, Vivian, if I'm not mistaken, you don't know how to count. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's always confused me.
Now, this joke is interesting because, while my grasp on the English language is very shaky at best, I do know how to count. And this joke sort of relies on that ability. And so you know a bike. You've seen bikes.
Yeah,
Our good friend Brian Summers is part bike.
My brother rides a bike.
He does.
Yeah.
That's so wonderful. I'm so proud of him. So you may, you know what a tire is on the bike.
Yeah. Like the circle things that are filled with, is it water?
It's air.
Oh, okay.
They fill those with air.
Okay.
They tried water, I'm told, but it did not work out well. So these tires, they're filled with air, and you may recall, on a bike, there are 2 of them. If you picture a bike in your mind.
So like one and then another one?
Yes. Now, if you have one, and if you have another one, do you see these 2 fingers that I'm holding up? This is 2. This is the concept of 2 things.
Okay.
So now, you may know that now this joke, just to remind our audience, is why couldn't the bike stand up by itself? It was too tired.
Yeah.
Now, you could picture this in the way that the bike is very exhausted, and thus it is falling over and very sleepy.
But bikes don't have feelings.
Bikes don't have feelings, which is where the second part of this joke comes in. The bike has 2 tires, and thus is too tired.
Oh my god! Oh my god, thank you!
Anytime.
Okay.
I'm glad to be in service in decoding this joke.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, well, with that knowledge, I feel like you have to be really smart to get that joke.
There are a lot of layers to it. There are a lot of layers.
Okay. So I would give that a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, I think so. I think that this joke it's very...
Wait, is it a pun? I can't tell.
Oh, you know what? You're right. It is a pun. With my illiteracy, I almost missed it, but I think that you're
I didn't
correct.
know how to count, and... Oh, no. Okay, 3 out of 5.
This is such a puzzle. 3 out of 5.
Sorry.
It's a very intellectual joke that very few people would be able to understand, but it is still a pun, and thus we can only give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. Well, I think it's about time that we decide that, I mean, I have a lot to learn. I just realized that counting is a thing that I could learn, and I really want to teach June how to read.
I would love to learn how to read.
So I guess we'll see you next week, and I hope you have a really great day.
Goodbye, Jokecast fans.